Hey toy fans, I'm D21 Beast and welcome back to my figure review series here on my YouTube channel. And today we are once again going boldly where no one has gone before. That's right, we have another Star Trek review for you here. And what we're looking at today is the Dr. Beverly Crusher Season 7 version from the Star Trek The Next Generation toy line, released in 2007 by Art Asylum and Diamond Select. And if you're not familiar with Dr. Crusher, she was played by actress Gates McFadden through Season 1 of Star Trek The Next Generation. She left during Season 2 and then came back from Season 3 and completed through Season 7, and even appeared in all the subsequent films. So she is a prominent cast member on the show, and definitely one of the figures you want to get if you're building a collection of the entire cast. Well, let's get things started, guys, by taking a look at that sculpting. Alright, toy fans, taking a look at the sculpting of this figure, I think that Dr. Crusher does resemble actress Gates McFadden pretty well. There's a few differences that maybe they could have improved upon, but overall I do like the likeness of the figure. I also like that her hair is sculpted and every individual strand can be seen here. I mean, look at all of that work that was done on the hair sculpt. And there's some painting highlights there that look really great. Also, her hair sculpt is a soft, pliable, rubbery material, so it does not interfere with articulation, which I really enjoy. Now, if you look at her neck, you do see that she has the standard commander pips, because that was Dr. Crusher's rank, and she's got that blue piping on the collar. As we come down the uniform, she does have a comm badge here that's been painted appropriately, and then she has her blue Science Division colors on the upper torso and on her sleeves. And as we come down, she does have just solid black outfit like all the rest of the figures in this line. That's how the Starfleet uniforms look. And as we flip the figure around, we're going to come down and see that that black is continued all the way up until about mid-torso, in which case it turns blue again. So, very good paintwork on this figure. It's very clean, and I do appreciate the sculpting on this figure, especially the softer hair sculpt. I really like that they went ahead and did that. Moving on to accessories, we can see that Dr. Crusher does come with a medical issue standard hypo spray. Now, if you're not a Trekkie and not familiar with this item, this is basically a futuristic syringe. It's got some great paint work and some great sculpting work on there, and basically what they would do is they would fill this up with whatever medical formula that they needed, and they just press it to the skin, and the patient is instantly injected with all the necessary medicine that they needed. Dr. Crusher also comes with a medical tricorder. Now, all the figures in this wave have been coming with standard tricorders, but this one is different because it's a bit taller than your standard tricorder. The computer and the buttons, the readouts, they all appear the same, but when you get to the top of the tricorder, there's actually an extra section that the standard tricorders don't have. And on the show, Dr. Crusher would pull out this medical probe, and she would scan her patients and get some additional information that she otherwise wouldn't get with a standard tricorder. So it's great to see that she has that specialized version of the tricorder as an accessory. Next, she's got this data pad, and a lot of figures in the wave have been coming with this data pad. Now, this particular one I call the waveform readout. I think we've seen it a couple of times before. It's got some great paint work and some great line work, and then we got some numbers in the lower right there. It is a flat silver on the back. And finally, Dr. Crusher comes with this desktop computer. Now, these things were pretty cool looking in the late 80s, early 90s. In fact, I wanted one when I was a kid. And what it was you just sit on the desk and they'd use this like you'd use your regular laptop, only primarily on the show these things seem to be used for communicating back and forth between Starfleet headquarters, which is symbolized there by the sticker that's on Dr. Crusher's computer. So a great accessory because Dr. Crusher did have one of these on her desk in her medical office. As far as articulation goes, Dr. Crusher does have a head that'll look left and right. It is capable of doing a full 360, but the hair is a bit challenging to work with, so I don't want to go ahead and do that here, but it will spin a full 360. She looks down about that far and up that far. She's got a full 360 degree rotation at the shoulder. She's got an upper bicep swivel that turns 360 degrees, as well as a single jointed elbow, and then a 360 degree at the wrist. And that articulation is duplicated on the other side. She's got a waist rotation that turns a full 360 degrees. And she's got an interesting sort of cut at the leg here. It's not like your classic joint, but it will allow her leg to move forward and twist a little outward. So that's kind of how that ends up looking. And then you can move her leg down, basically to standing position. She does have a single jointed knee, and when we look at the foot, she does have a toe that'll bend up that far and bend down that far. So that completes the articulation for this figure. Pretty standard along the line, and pretty good for this Dr. Crusher figure. I have no complaints really in that respect. Taking a look at the height now, we can see that Dr. Crusher does stand at just over 7 inches tall. For some size comparison, here we have Dr. Crusher standing next to another female figure in this line, Troy. And here we have Dr. Crusher compared to her son, Wesley Crusher, who, looking here, seems a bit bigger than normal when compared to this figure. And compared to an average size figure in this wave, Captain Picard. And compared to Marvel Select Doctor Doom. And compared to the 6-inch scale, Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine. And finally, and this is the fun one, here we have Dr. Crusher from Art Asylum and Diamond Select compared to her 90s counterpart, Dr. Crusher from the Playmates toy line when the show was still on the air. Alright, toy fans, well that's my review of the Season 7 Dr. Crusher figure released by Art Asylum Diamond Select in 2007 from the Star Trek The Next Generation series. Now this figure is pretty good. It's got a great likeness to actress Gates McFadden if you ask me, and she's got some pretty cool accessories. Now my only complaint about this figure is that her hands don't really seem to want to hold the accessories, and that's kind of a problem that female toys in general have. I definitely remember having trouble with the Playmates toys back in the day. They couldn't hold anything they came with. But overall, I do think the sculpt and the paintwork is great. She's an essential member of the cast. You definitely want to go out and pick up this figure. Now, on the secondary market, her price has gone up just a little bit. She's not as in demand as, say, a Worf or a Riker, but you may have to shell out a few extra bucks just to make sure you get her as part of your collection. Well, that's my review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to rate, share, and subscribe. Also, be sure to hit me up on Twitter at D21Beast. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hey toy fans, did you watch this review and find yourself wanting to know more about Dr. Crusher? Well, Star Trek actually streams on Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon, so take a look at these suggested episodes to learn more about this great character.